Hey everyone! Today we are going to be talking to you about the cost of living crisis and your campervan. Can we save you some money? We're going to try. Let's go.
We have what we think is a top 10.
It's 10. It's 10. I don't know whether it's a top 10.
Yeah,
but
it's 10.
Yeah.
That we think are fairly sensible ones, actually. A couple of ridiculous ones thrown in. You might not think it's not, but yeah, there's 10.
Let's go. Let's go rapid fire this time. Rapid fire.
We don't do anything rapid.
No, we need to. Come on. Our videos are too long.
Okay, right. Number one
Let's
then.
go.
Make your van as efficient as you possibly can. So by that we mean, are your tyres pumped up to the correct pressure? Have they actually got a decent tread pattern on them and they're safe? Are you running it without the air conditioning on if you can possibly get away with it?
It's like weight, take all the weight out.
Take all of the rubbish out of it that you're carrying around that you really don't need. So, you know, if you're not going to put your awning up, maybe take your awning off.
Yeah, if you go into a site and you know you're going to want to use your water, don't fill your water up at home, because that's 30 kilos of weight that you're going to be just carrying for no reason, because you can fill it up on the site and guess what? It's their water as well that you're using.
And you've paid for it.
And you've paid for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all good.
Same with your waste. Empty your waste when you're at home. Get rid of that. Don't carry it around.
Absolutely.
And before you leave your site as well.
Yeah, don't carry around your waste.
Well, maybe the other one then, if you want to take that even further, is to keep filling it up with small amounts of diesel. So you're not carrying around, well, in our case, we've got an 80-litre tank, so that's a lot of kilos worth of diesel, isn't it?
That's more than you or I weigh. No.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, maybe not.
No.
Right, second tip, staying local. So we've definitely been doing this ourselves. So we used to think that going on holiday was only going on holiday if there was a good kind of couple of hours in the van where you got to have a chat and eat a load of sweets on the way and all of that sort of stuff. We've cut all that out, not the sweets, we still eat them, but we've cut all the 2-hour journeys out. Yeah. So we're staying a bit more local now. And I tell you what, there's some amazing campsites and stopovers that we found within about 25 miles of where we live. It's absolutely brilliant.
Places that we don't generally visit because we've just been looking further afield.
Yeah, you just think,
miss your local area.
That's a bit like going to, going to someone's house around the corner. That's not going on holiday. Rubbish. There's some amazing stuff on your doorstep you probably don't even know about, so definitely worth checking that out.
Yeah. Okay, what's next?
So what have we got next then? We've written a list.
So think carefully about whether you actually need a campsite. So obviously campsites can charge anything from what? I think the cheapest one we've ever found, something like about £18 a night, right the way up to cracking on £50, £60 a night. Yep. Do you actually need to go on a campsite? If it's only 1 or 2 nights, could you maybe do a pub stopover instead? Because if you're treating yourself anyway and you're thinking, well, we'd go out to a pub or a restaurant or something for a meal on at least one of the 2 nights, maybe you could do that instead. Save yourself your site fees. Just a thought.
Could be worth.
Could be a good saving in there with that, and you're obviously still helping out the local economy and going to the pubs and the restaurants nearby.
And that brings us on to number 4, which is related. And are you really checking what you're getting if you do book a campsite? Because there's usually options on the types of pitch that you can have and everything else. And you might be like me, going for like the big super pitch, the one that can take the bungalow type tent with all the annexes on and everything else. And there's just our little van.
It looks quite lost.
It looks quite lost on some of those pitches, and we're paying, £40, £50 a night for those pitches. We ain't doing that anymore. Yeah. So now we're really clever about what kind of pitch we're having if we're going to go on a campsite. We don't tend to have hookup either, because we've got it all in the van that we can use. Hookup is getting more expensive on sites, if you hadn't noticed. So some of the sites charging £4, £5, £6 extra a night to have hookup. If you're there for 1 or 2 nights, are you really going to use that much electric? And actually, when you're boiling a couple of kettles, if you've got a heater in your van and all that kind of stuff, if you want that, obviously that's fine. I just don't think it's necessarily worth it. So we don't tend to book hookup anymore. And we have found some sites which have got VW campervan pitches, and I'm sure they take other camper vans, they just market them as VW camper so people know what the size we're talking. But they're actually quite small pitches where you can just get a van on, you can roll out your awning on the side and that's it. So quite nice and small, but they cost a lot less than the other big pitches as well. So definitely worth checking out what kind of pitch that you're picking if you do go onto a site.
And you find in some of the toilet blocks and facilities, even if you're thinking that you need to plug your hairdryer in, there's probably a plug socket somewhere that you can take your hairdryer in with you. So, you know, and to be honest, I hate trying to dry my hair in the van because his hair goes everywhere. He has a right go at me, and it's just all a very noisy, horrible experience. So,
there we go then.
Ditch the hookup.
Right, onward.
What number are we on, Will?
We're on number 5.
5, okay. So, this one sends a little bit of a shiver down my spine, I must admit. And it's something I don't think we will actually do. I think... I think it's last in the priority list of stuff to save money on. Rent out your van. No. Fills me with horror.
This should be number 10
minus. Should be just doesn't even occur. Some people don't have a problem with it at all and would quite happily just rent it out and fine.
We did see the poor people on one of the Facebook groups who'd mentioned that they'd lent their van to a family friend, I think it was.
I think it was a family member.
Was it a family member who decided they were going to put diesel into the water tank? And anyone who knows about Callie's, that's a relatively easy mistake to make because let's be honest, it's where you'd normally pull up to the petrol pump. It's at the back of the van, wallop a load of diesel in, beautiful. Not so beautiful trying to get rid of that kind of smell. That's going to be a really expensive mistake. So just please be careful. Sorry, there's a biplane going over if you can hear it. I do apologise.
That's what happens when we decide to sit in the garden for a change.
So yeah, just be really careful if you do decide to rent it out or try and make some money off it that way. Maybe ring a couple of the higher people and just say what are the horror stories and
or maybe even film some videos of things that you know are easy to break. So how to turn around the driver's chair,
That's a good
how
idea.
to put the table out, how to close the roof, make sure what doors you've got open, all that kind of stuff. I'd say, you could say, watch this, which is our top 10 mistakes, I think it was, video of what not to do in a camper van. And
we should do one of those about California.
I think we should,
as well.
specific to California, because there are some real things that you can do that are very expensive to repair and very easy to break.
So that brings us on to number 7? 6? 7?
1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6. 6.
Not drunk anything, I promise.
No, this is a bit early in the afternoon. Sell some accessories that you don't use. And I know that you will have accessories you don't use. We've got a spare room full of accessories we don't use, which we really need to start moving on. And that's not just because we've been running the channel and people send us stuff and we end up not using it. It's not that at all. This is stuff we've bought with good intentions. We've used it once or twice and then we've thought, actually I can't be bothered with that anymore, or I found something even better.
Yeah, like something's moved on. I mean, for
usually
instance,
gets superseded.
Mattresses.
Yeah, we got a lot of them.
Our last van, so 4 and a bit years ago now, we spent quite a lot of money on Zone Sleep mattresses, which some of you might not have even heard of, but they were definitely the thing.
Yeah, we've still got a Zone Sleep
in 2018,
somewhere.
And we've got one just sitting out in our spare bedroom at the moment,
taking up
space.
So definitely
we do need to sell it.
We've got a few bits that
somebody might want it. It's if you would like a Zone Sleep topper.
Stop it! This isn't
for the downstairs bed. Drop us a line.
That's definitely not a sales video. Stop it. So yeah, have a look through your cupboards. Have a look through. Do a quick stock take in the van. Look in each cupboard and think, when did I last use that? Have I ever used that? And if the answer's no, is it really right to be carrying it round?
Relates back to the first one, doesn't it? Of make
light.
it as efficient as you possibly can.
Travel
Why are you
light.
carrying stuff around you're not going to use? Now, I will say there's a wasp flying around at the moment, and
you love wasps.
For those people who know me, they will know I have a big problem with wasps.
Right.
So if you see me squeal and run off, that's what's happened.
Come on, let's get through this then, because then Mr. Wasp can disappear.
Which one are we on
so
now, then?
We're on number 7.
Number 7. So you could, depending on how you use your van, SORN it over winter. Road tax is not particularly cheap, or
on a Cali it's not.
Road tax, is it? It's road fund licence.
Yeah. Even when it's registered as a van, it's still a good 30 quid a month, isn't it?
Yeah.
28, 29 pound a month.
Yeah, if you're not going to use it for the whole of December or January, say, that's potentially 60 odd quid that you could save yourself. That's, half a tank of diesel.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely.
1 or 2 nights on a nice site that you could save for the next year.
Definitely worth it. Number 8. So you could try out ultra staycation.
What's ultra about it, Will?
Ultra is the fact that you don't even leave your house.
Well, you do. You have to leave your house to get into your van.
Right. You don't move the van.
Don't leave your residential curtilage.
This also plays in nicely to SORNing the van, because if you literally can't move it because it would be untaxed to do so.
Illegal.
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 Actually, you could go for an ultra staycation, which is where you don't leave, as Sarah said, the curtilage of your property. You can tell she's a planner, can't you?
The red line around your property.
And it means that it might actually be cheaper to stay in your van than it is in your house. So I haven't done the sums.
Intriguing.
I'm sure there's going to be a really avid subscriber out there with a decent calculator who's got better brain for this stuff than me.
Yeah.
Calculate how much diesel the heater uses in the van versus running your boiler in the house, and let us know if it's
and
cheaper.
What the price cap is.
Is it
yeah.
Is it
Kilowatt
cheaper
hours.
to stay in the van and heat the van than it is to heat your house? And I've got a sneaking suspicion it is.
It is.
Because the cost of diesel, although that's gone crazy, actually the cost of fuel for the house, so gas and electric, is, well, you know what it is.
Yeah,
It
we
is
don't need to tell you.
absolutely eye-watering. So I suspect,
And getting worse.
even though diesel is now what, 180 a litre ish, something like that, I suspect it's still cheaper to run the diesel heater in the van and sleep in the van and be nice and warm than it would be to heat your house to a similar temperature overnight.
Yeah.
So definitely worth working out.
That's a bit of a bombshell potentially, isn't
well,
it?
it's another fun night, kind of not away, but
kind
away.
Of camping.
Yeah, camping.
Yeah.
Why not?
Just hope your driveway's flat. Otherwise, it could be quite an uncomfortable night, even if you're warm, couldn't it?
And then we're on to number 9.
Which is it's a little bit of a sore point, I suppose, for some
It's
of our
hard for us to say
subscribers.
this.
It's really, really hard for us to say this. Stop buying stuff.
Stop buying stuff. Yeah.
Stop watching what we're telling you might be a good thing for you to buy.
No, they can still watch, but they just don't buy it.
Yeah, still do the watching, just don't buy the actual thing. Save yourself some money. Do you actually need it, or do you just fancy it?
I mean, we love bringing new stuff on the channel and showing it to you and having a play with different things, and we love gadgets. You know what the channel's like by now. But you've really got to ask yourself, do I really need this? I think we're all just checking how much we're spending, kind of links to selling stuff you don't use. If you do really want to buy some new stuff, have you got some old stuff you could sell to fund the new stuff, which at least means it isn't new money that you're having to plough in.
Or are you going to SORN your van for a couple of months if it's just a little purchase?
If you're looking to spend 40 or 50 quid,
yeah.
If you SORN the van in, say, December and January, when it's absolutely freezing outside, actually that might pay for that gadget, mightn't it? Yeah. So yeah, definitely worth thinking about.
Yeah.
And then finally, the biggest impact of all, and I hate to actually finish with this on number 10.
It's quite a sad one.
It's very sad. Would you ever consider selling your van because of the cost of living crisis? And that is a serious kind of point to end the video on, but I think...
Sorry for the downer, guys.
You know, we do recognise that the cost of living crisis is really biting. You know, there isn't a day that goes past where we don't talk about, you know, our outgoings, how much it's going to cost to, you know, heat our house, and where can we go away in the van. And when we talk about where we'd like to go in the van, we're now thinking, how much is that tank going to cost? Yeah. You know, how much is the site going to cost? How much is food going to cost?
How much is beer going to cost?
How much is that? So, you know, it's all adding up, and we absolutely feel it. And when we've been thinking about the order in kind of living terms of, if our gas and electric bills at home get up to a certain point, at what point do we then say, can we still have our van? And that's a really sad and worrying state of affairs, because if we're thinking that, there's going to be loads of other people thinking that. And I don't really want to end the video on that, because it feels like a real downer and a real negative. And this isn't like a clickbaity video where we're going to say, "Oh, we're selling our van," because it's not. It's not that video.
Not yet. Anyway.
It might.
Never say never.
Come back in April, May next year when we've had another couple of price cap increases or whatever, and it might be a different story. But
maybe we do start thinking about renting it out.
Yeah, there's things on that list which we do all the time. There's other things on there which feel a bit tricky for us to consider, but we might have to get there, mightn't we? So let us know in the comments below what you're thinking. Is the price cap affecting you in terms of your relationship with your van, where you're going and everything else? I'm not going to ask you if the price cap's affecting you, because it's affecting everybody. Yeah. But is it really affecting what you do with your van? Is it changing where you travel to? Is it changing what you buy?
Your holiday plans?
Are you still thinking about keeping your van long term? you know, let us know. Yeah, because if you've got holiday plans for next year, which you had baked in, you're thinking that's definitely what I want to do. I want to go to, you know, southern Italy, or I want to go to, you know, Finland, or, you know, some really amazing kind of long distance trips. Are you changing those plans just because of the cost of the van and the cost of living crisis generally? So let us know in the comments below. We will have a bit of a cheerier video next time, I promise. But we thought, just with the price cap this week and everything else, it just felt like the right time to go through a few of these tips and have a bit of a chat about things.
What we've been thinking about anyway.
Definitely, yeah.
Right.
Great, I hope that's been useful. So
look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah,
definitely.
Comments below, as always.
Below. And we'll see you
again soon for some more California time.